Happy Friday, Broncos country. This is Let's Talk Broncos. I'm Bri here with Joey Richards. Joey, how are you?
I am doing fantastic. I am so excited it's Friday right now. It's Super Bowl weekend, which is going to be amazing. I have things lined up. I have things to do. I'm excited. This week was super busy, especially in my industry that I work in. But it's over now, and I get to enjoy the festivities of everything. So I'm stoked. Bree, how are you doing?
Gonna crack open a wine stuffing and enjoy yourself?
Multiple wine Steffens and enjoy myself.
Awesome. I love it. I'm doing fantastic. I've got a concert later on tonight that I'm very much so looking forward to. So I'll be at an undisclosed location watching some live music. Can't wait to get that rolling. And there's a big game this Sunday. I know we're excited to talk about it, although the Broncos are not in the Super Bowl and they haven't been for 7 years. Super Bowl 57 is this Sunday, and we get to talk about it. So earlier today, I released a little video that it needs to be the Eagles because anybody but the Chiefs, and I meant it. So if you're watching all along and you want to give your predictions for Sunday, go ahead and hop on over to the Mile High Sports YouTube or Facebook so that you can get your questions and comments highlighted. We're going to be with you for about 20 to 25 minutes, maybe longer if you join in and want to have a conversation with us. But please do so we can talk along with you because that's what we like to do here at Let's Talk Broncos. Joey, let's jump into it. Patrick Mahomes is kind of unstoppable. The Chiefs and the Eagles both looking really healthy this late in the season. And honestly, I'm glad. I'm happy that it's not going to be a repeat of what we saw with the poor 49ers not being able to get it done because they were just too injury plagued. But now you got the Eagles looking good. Jalen Hurts looks like it's not being too bothersome in his shoulder, his non-dominant shoulder. And then Patrick Mahomes doesn't seem to be plagued by the sprained ankle he suffered a couple of weeks ago. What are you looking forward to most in this matchup on Sunday, Eagles versus Chiefs?
Honestly, I'm really looking forward to. So this is me. I don't think anyone else is going to look forward to this, but me personally, I'm looking forward to the trench play in this game. Eagles' offensive line is phenomenal. They have the best offensive line coach in the league as their coach, and because of that, and because of the players they've drafted, their offensive line is absolutely dominant. We saw it against the 49ers. Once they decided what they wanted to do, they picked on one side and it was over. It was done. It was done. And it's because their offensive line is so good. It's really the engine of that offense. And then, I look at the Chiefs side and Chris Jones. Chris Jones is as good as it is in the NFL as an interior defensive lineman. Of course, we have Aaron Donald in the league, and he's kind of, in his tier of his own. But outside of him, Chris Jones is an absolute monster. I really wish the Broncos would have drafted him. But I'm looking forward to some of those matchups in the front seven, and I want to know how Chris Jones does against this Eagles offensive line. What about you, Bree? What are you looking forward to in this game?
Well, you were talking about the Eagles' offensive line, and I think what you can expect is for Jalen Hurts to be able to get big third down and maybe even fourth down plays. Sirianni likes to go and push it a little bit. I don't think he's going to be
Mhm.
playing safe against this Kansas City team. I think he's going to really have to push some buttons, and doing so would be going for it on some short plays there. I think the offensive line is what is able to get that done. You're going to see Jalen Hurts be able to do some QB sneaks, a little run through the middle, and just because they protect their QB so well, I'm looking forward to the Eagles offense getting something done against a Kansas City defense that hasn't been exactly great against the run. So, interesting note there. Are they able to slow down Jalen Hurts? I'm not sure. They struggled a little bit against Joe Burrow. Not technically a very mobile quarterback, but enough to get it done. So, it'll be really interesting to see what plan the Kansas City Chiefs defense brings against this Eagles offense, because
Yeah.
obviously you have an Eagles offense that's running off of all cylinders and a Chiefs defense that maybe can get it done. The offense is what I'm more worried about. Patrick Mahomes can make some really crazy plays. So I think what I'm
That's
looking
insane.
forward to is the Eagles defense stepping in, seeing what Jonathan Gannon is able to do to slow down Patrick Mahomes, because that's the number one thing you're going to have to do. The other thing of note too, and I want to throw this out there, I'm being long winded tonight is that Travis Kelce is open on every single opportunity. His ability to be able to get open,
Pisses me
specifically
off,
in
Bri.
in man coverage, if he sees that someone's going to be one-on-one against him, he's going to make them look stupid. And so I know as we watch Kansas City Chiefs game, we're always throwing up our hands being like, why is Kelce always open? He's just that good of a player. So if the Eagles defense wants to figure this out, they're going to eliminate Travis Kelce. I don't know how, but they're going to have to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they will have to at least limit Travis Kelce. It's hard, and this is the Kelce Bowl, right? I highlighted the Eagles' offensive line in the center there. He's the one of the best centers in the entire league. Brother of Travis Kelce. You have a great podcast together, matter of fact. But yes, you do have to somewhat limit them. The thing, and you also mentioned just how crazy Patrick Mahomes is, Bri. I mean, it's ridiculous sometimes. Like, it is really ridiculous sometimes. Some of the throws he's making, what he did on like damn near 1 foot last week was crazy. Like, so like he's better than the Broncos had with 1 foot. I don't know what's going on out there, but the Broncos need to get better on offense, obviously. But Patrick Mahomes is just really that crazy of a player, and it's not just all processing down the field. It's not all that. He gets away doing stuff that is not human. He gets away
They do,
doing
but
not human stuff, Bri.
But they do what's good for Patrick Mahomes. They script the
Yeah.
game so that Patrick Mahomes' strengths are highlighted, and
Andy
that's
Reid.
what they do. Andrew Reid has done a fantastic job setting up Patrick Mahomes for success, and you've seen Patrick Mahomes elevate himself over the last couple of years of play. Yeah, at first, it felt like he couldn't read any progressions. Now, Patrick Mahomes can make any play happen at any time, but those specific plays that he runs, he practices them all week. He's been doing it all week towards the Super Bowl. And that's why he looks so incredibly
Right.
adept. It's because he knows exactly how he's going to do it. Nobody's figured out how to stop him unless you bring him down to one leg. And apparently he can still do it then too. So it's a little frustrating. It's a little frustrating. Frankie has a question here.
Yes.
Wants to know what's the first song that Rihanna sings at the Super Bowl. Now, don't correct me in the
Ooh.
comments about the pronunciation of her name because I believe I actually did it right this time. I think it's going to be Umbrella, and so does Frankie. Frankie says Umbrella. Cal says 1-2 Step. That's not the same artist. So, but if I hear 1-2 Step, not going to be too happy. Could be a little bit weird. There's mentions of Tom Holland's version of Umbrella. I don't know if you've ever seen the lip sync battle where he
Yes.
dances to that. Absolutely iconic. Love the questions that we're seeing from the chat. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us on a Friday night. I know it's always a little bit of like, I got plans, but you know what? We shouldn't have plans until Sunday because that's when the big game is. Joey, we got to talk a little bit, I think, about some of the predictions for the game.
Yes.
Maybe even some of the Gatorade colors that could be coming. What color do you think the Gatorade is going to be for the celebratory dump at the end of the game?
We're on the same path, Bri, because I was just about to ask you, do you have any prop bets for this game? We're in the exact same brain right now. I'm going to personally go with red. I'm going with red. That red. Why not red? Is red
Stains.
not exactly?
Is it because
like
they're in Arizona?
Yes.
Cardinal red?
Maybe that's why. I don't know. I'm just feeling red at the moment. I might put a little bet on that just because. I have another question, Bri. Okay, wait. First, do you have what do you think the Gatorade color is? Because you looked at me like red is definitely not it.
I wasn't expecting red. I don't know why. I was like more thinking like orange or yellow. I think I'm going to go with yellow. I'm going to go like the lemon lime flavor. It seems boring, but it seems safe.
I feel that. Now, does the national anthem push over on time or under on time, you think?
I wish I knew who was singing it. I didn't look
I
that up
literally
prior.
don't know what the over under is or who's singing, but just make a pick, and then I'm gonna go with the opposite. Winner takes all.
Okay, I'm gonna go over.
Over? Okay,
Yeah.
I'll take under. Remind us here back on the podcast. I don't know. I'm gonna see Bri tonight, so if I see her, I'm going to. We're gonna set a bet up, and if you're in the Discord, I'll let you know what the bet is.
Okay, sounds good. We're being chastised in the chat by Cal. Wonderful Super Bowl predictions. You know what I'm going to go with, and I think that it could happen. Travis Kelce, 2 touchdowns.
Ooh, that is a bold one.
It's bold. That's what we do here on Let's Talk Broncos. Bold
Okay, I have a
prediction.
player that I go 2 touchdowns with.
Okay.
Miles Sanders. Miles
Ooh,
Sanders, 2 touchdowns. Travis
okay.
Kelce, much better player than Miles Sanders. But hey, if I'm gonna bet, if I've spent this entire podcast talking about the Eagles' offensive line. Why not bet more on it? The offensive linemen are going to be the ones pushing Miles Sanders into the end zone. That offensive line, literally ridiculous. Um, I think it was Lane Johnson. He tore something in his leg last week and was playing on it. I think it was Lane Johnson. And he had a phenomenal game. You would never know. You would never, ever know. So I'm going Miles Sanders, 2 touchdowns. I think the Eagles are going to want to run the ball effectively this game. And I think, of course, they're going to want to run the ball effectively this game. It's not even, I think. It's I know,
Wait,
because that's
wait,
what
wait,
they
Joey.
do.
Joey, is this a must-win game?
I Sit a must-win game. I mean, we'll get them next year. No, of course, it's a must-win game. I don't know why you're asking that. Okay. Joke is someone asked someone asked who that.
So there was some questions on Media Row this week. I think it was kind of a running gag to ask people to throw them off, and you got some actual like thoughtful answers to the questions. I think the Chiefs. I think Patrick Mahomes kind of was like, yeah, it's a must win. So it was just really fun to see. Media Row looks like such a fantastic time. There are all sorts of characters out there. I've been watching NFL Network today, and Brett Michaels was just fangirling over Ian Rappaport. And then NFL,
Really?
they were just giving him a heck of a time because he was out there. You saw Melvin Gordon running into James Palmer just out on the street randomly to talk to him. So the Chiefs players are running around Media Row in the Super Bowl, the convention center, I assume is that where they're at right now. But
Yeah.
it's just been a really fun time to watch respective media members from across the NFL cover this momentous occasion. Joey, if you made a trip down to Media Row, who's the first person you would want to run into to talk to? Is there like an NFL player or a media member where you couldn't wait to just be able to ask them a couple of questions?
All right. This one is like, okay, I would want it. Like, if I were there, I'm not like much of a guy that would get starstruck over like people or anything like that. Like I just never have been. It's just I've ran into people and it's always like, hey, how's it going? One person I think that I would be like absolutely like lose my mind if I saw them and were able to interview them or whatever. Um, if I saw Deion Sanders down there, because he is down there right now and he is making the rounds, that would be the one. If I saw Deion or Von Miller, those are the two. Those are two guys I looked up to when I was a kid. So definitely those two, especially now that Deion is CU's head football coach. And literally, I think he has a case to be one of the best athletes of all time. Obviously being professional in both baseball and football and being the best DB of all time. Like his accolades are crazy. So I would probably go with Deion. Deion, what about you, Bree? Is there a person that would like have you like starstruck? I'm curious.
I mean, seeing Brett Michaels was kind of crazy. It was like both of my worlds were colliding, some hair metal and the NFL, which I just was tickled by. And he was getting interviewed too. He knew a lot about what he wanted to get done. I think he's obviously a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, but he's wandering around NFL Media Row just hanging out with everybody. I think that one would be really exciting. Obviously, I think like a Peyton Manning would just be crazy. I don't know. I don't know if I could contain myself and act like a normal human being around him. But I think it's really interesting to see, sorry, Coach Prime down there having a great time, just bringing a lot of eyes to college football here in the state of Colorado. Him and his sons have been doing a great job kind of letting everyone know about all the thrills of Colorado, letting everyone know it's actually not that cold, which maybe don't tell a whole lot of people how nice it is here in Colorado. I don't know if we need more people going down there. Samuel Castro thinks that next year the LTB crew should have a booth on Media Row. You know what, Samuel? from your lips to God's ears, I sure hope that we can make it down there.
Send this
We're
to the
going to do
boss.
our very best.
Send this to the boss.
We're going to do our
Ooh.
very best to get out there and do some more coverage. I don't think we're going to make it to the draft this year. We were at the draft last year, but hoping that Let's Talk Broncos can start to really cover a lot of these monumental gigs, because how crazy is that? This Super Bowl would be the highlight of my very short career. So the sooner I can get there, the better. Cal says he would want to run into Colum, obviously friend of the show, down there, just meeting all sorts of people. I think he ran into Emmanuel Sanders and Von Miller. He had an interview with Mina Kimes today. I think Mina would be a really cool person to talk to and just sort of pick her brain. I wouldn't want to talk football with her. I think I would just want to hear her talk and then laugh at all of her jokes because she's fantastic. So yeah, that's been a great time there. What I wanted to also note, though, is Sean Payton has been sitting down a lot. It looks like national attention will not come off of the Denver Broncos anytime soon. With the signing of Russell Wilson in 2022, Sean Payton being hired as the head coach in 2023, all eyes are once again on the Denver Broncos. He's been doing his media trail. He's going to be getting the name out there, getting the face out there, because he's back into the NFL after doing a short broadcasting stint. But interesting, he sat down with Josh Jacobs from the Las Vegas Raiders and basically gave him a lot of free PR. Probably going to make his price tag skyrocket. And I know the Denver Broncos are looking at what their running back group is going to look like going into the next season. Joey, is Josh Jacobs high on your radar or not? I think the last couple of seasons, it's been a little hit or miss, but last year specifically, he was able to really make a case for himself, only making that ask a little bit higher. With Derek Carr's departure from Las Vegas, Josh Jacobs' career contract and 5th year, what do you do here? Do you grab Josh Jacobs?
I think he's going to get a really big contract, and that's my kind of issue there. I always wonder, like, when the year of the NFL comes around to that we shouldn't pay running backs off their first deal like a ton of money. But every year it never comes. So I'm still anticipating that Josh Jacobs is going to get paid a lot, and I am against that. I don't like that. I think there's other ways to spend money. I think running back is an easier position to find. And I just worry about the longevity of, paying a guy like Josh Jacobs a 4-year deal. And then I have to worry about if he gets banged up, what happens? Because those running backs get banged up a lot. Or how long this guy's career is going to be. Will he fall off at any point? I think the best way is, with how easy they are to find, is to go either sign some mid-tier guy or to go out there in the draft. And I think they actually should do both of those. And draft a guy. If there's one you like, I mean, if you're a fan of the NFL draft, everyone's favorite thing to do is to go look at those late round running backs, because you can find gems there. You absolutely can find gems there. So I don't know if I would go as far as Josh Jacobs, but I would sign a running back this year as well as draft one.
Does the injury to Tony Pollard make you a little hesitant about the possibility of maybe picking up him? Is it too expensive? Because listen, you've got Javonte Williams hurt, who's probably not going to be ready in the middle of the season next year, let alone any time before that, because of that absolutely horrific injury to every single ligament in his knee. And then you've got Latavius Murray, who is aging out a little bit. Sean Payton has made no secret out of his respect for Latavius Murray. I like Latavius Murray, but one running back's not going to get it done. You got a possibility of maybe Marlon Mack. Chase Edmonds is a little bit costly. However, hopefully they can rework his contract if he wants to stick around and remain a Bronco. In my video earlier today, I said a lot about greener pastures for some familiar faces, and that very well could mean some of the running backs that we were able to assemble this season or in 2022 are not available in 2023. One Absolutely. Of those being Edmonds, and then Latavius Murray, I think, is kind of just the shoe in there. So who would you want to add if it's not Jacobs or Pollard? Is there another free agent running back you've been eyeing, or do you want them to target in the draft?
I'm going to say this. There's a slew of running backs that I'd eye. It's something with Sean Payton's system is that we're going to be running a running back by committee. We're not going to have one guy. Now, Javonte Williams is back, or he will be back at some point. you have to worry about how he looks coming off a multi-ligament knee injury. Like, I looked into the odds of that. It doesn't look too good of him ultimately being the exact same player. But hey, guess what? Sean Payton likes running a running back by committee. Like, I think I looked up the 2016 Saints. I went through there on the last podcast and I pointed out 4 guys that cut carries and touches that year. It's to fill a niche. So yes, I do think there's a slew of running backs, Bri, that I would take a look at a lot in free agency. I just don't know if I would go after the Josh Jacobs or the Tony Pollards, especially if they are going to run a running back by committee. What's the point of paying a guy if I'm splitting them between 3 people? Like, I can go out into the draft and find this. The New England Patriots have had great success with this, especially even this last year. Ramondre Stevenson from the University of Oklahoma was a guy that wasn't drafted very high, had a really good year. And you can go down their roster. Damian Harris isn't a fantastic back, but he fills a need for them. There's different people like that. Colton Cooper hops in and he says, look in the draft, in my opinion, hopefully find a gem like Pacheco. Exactly. That's kind of what I'm saying there. Like, you can go into the draft. Like, Kareem Hunt was a guy that the Chiefs didn't draft super high. Still, one of the better backs in the league when he was there. That's my
Sometimes
point.
you have to do that, Joey. I think there's a little too much hesitation on if you go to the draft for a running back and draft high that you're going to be sad about it. That's just not true.
Bro.
And who could have expected Pacheco to have the year that he's been able to have with the Chiefs? It's just a little bit of time, a little connectivity, chemistry with your offense. So didn't mean to cut you off there, but I did want to say, why not take the risk there? You're already doing so much. You're already trying to set your team up for success. Sometimes you have to make some risky moves. Also, if you're trying to pay another running back that maybe isn't being held on by their former team, there's no telling how that's going to work out either. So just want to point that out.
Kyle says Joey's going to try to play out and miss the concert. True. Facts. No, but I agree with you, Bri. I totally agree with your points there. I think there's more. At the end of the day, I think there's multiple ways to attack that running back room. I don't think there's one set way you have to do it. If you want to maybe take a running back in the 3rd round, I'm not going to be really mad about it. And that would be one of your highest pick, right? I think that's something you can do. If you want to sign kind of a middle tier running back and then draft a running back in the 6th round, that's another avenue. There's different ways to attack it. I do think, though, that you need to bring in multiple. Latavius Murray and Javonte Williams alone isn't going to do it. And I doubt Chase Edmonds, to your point, Bri, because you brought this here. I don't think he'll be. I don't think he'll be back either. Just the salary, it's a little rich.
Yeah, I'm not sure I feel too good about retaining there unless the contract's a little bit lower. But you know what? If Chase Edmonds is the running back that you need to rely on until Javonte Williams is back and healthy, that just seems like what you may have to do. There are going to be pain points for the Denver Broncos going into the 2023 season. For 2022, we thought a big old bandage in the form of Russell Wilson was going to fix every ailment that plagued this team. That wasn't the case. And so going into this next season, we're going to know that the offensive line is going to need a whole lot of rebuilding efforts, a foundational overhaul, and then you're going to have to wait until those assignments are figured out, because an offensive line doesn't just fix itself if you put in a few key pieces and get another offensive line coach in there, especially if it's a young offensive line coach like the one that was just brought in by Sean Payton. So look to be a little bit of a slow start. I think last year we thought about, there could be a really slow start for the Denver Broncos. And turns out that's exactly what we received. It just never really got off the ground. Hopefully that's not too much of the case for the season moving forward. But this year very much could be a fixing, waiting, building chemistry, building culture, and waiting to reap the benefits in 2024. I know not all of Broncos country is super patient, but I'm ready for the long haul. And that's what we're doing here at Let's Talk Broncos. Thank you for everyone joining us. We're not going anywhere. I just wanted to point out that that's exactly why we're talking you through the entirety of the offseason, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then don't forget, because we want to continue to talk about team building through a lens of drafting, scouting, office decisions, and everything in between. Joey, talk to me a little bit about the change or the evolution of Let's Talk Draft.
Yes. Frankie and I are still the hosts there. We're still going to do the same thing. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be really good. And it's going to still be focused on draft, everybody. And I want to highlight that it's still going to be focused on draft. We're going to be focused on multiple things, though. I want to make it as entertaining as absolutely possible for everybody. We're going to get guests lined up. We're going to talk about free agents. Frankie has an absurd eye for being able to evaluate players and talent. So I want to utilize that. And I think that, everything that goes into that, coaching, players, everything, we're going to go all into that. And then we're going to roll that into the regular season, where it's going to be, now we're looking at how that's working out, and how that can be improved. So I'm really looking forward to the show. And I mean, Frankie is an absolute killer. So yeah, shout out to him. And, we have some guests coming up, so stay tuned for that as well.
Everybody loves a guest. If you have a guest you want to see on Let's Talk Broncos, contact us, tweet at us, drop it in the chat. We'd love to hear about it. I don't guarantee we'll take the recommendations and do anything about it, but we do want to hear who you want to see on the show. And that's the great thing about the off season, is everyone's in the same off season. They've got a ton of time on their hands. So we'd love to know who you want to see and what you want to see here on Let's Talk Broncos as we head towards season 2. It'll be here before you know it. I don't know what to call this. This is like season 1.5. Starting on Monday, though, it's the brand new season of the Denver Broncos. So I think that means the Let's Talk Broncos can follow suit. Be sure to watch out for that. I know everyone's probably wondering also where Zach is. Zach was able to pop into the chat, watch a little bit of this morning. He will be back. He is not gone, or this earlier to start the evening. He's not gone anywhere. He'll be back shortly. He's on a trip. He's going to go spend some time with family. We miss you, Zach. Thanks for letting us still do the show without you. Yeah, Joey, I think we should get into predictions for the game.
Okay, I'm going to start off with Zach here because you mentioned him, and he did text me his prediction. He gave a score prediction and an MVP. He has the Eagles winning 30-27 with Jalen Hurts being the MVP. Personally, I feel like that is a pretty safe bet. I am not mad at it. Zach, I'm going to text you after this because I just don't think it's bold enough, me personally. But hey, shout out to you. There's a good chance of you being, in the ballpark. I'm going to go. How can you pick against? I just gave Zach crap, but how can you pick against one of the quarterbacks winning the MVP? Who else can win it? I don't think I can't imagine anybody else winning it. You have the two league MVP runner-up, so it only makes sense for one of them to win Super Bowl MVP. So I'm going to kind of hop on that train. I'm going to go lower scoring though. Mm-hmm. I'm going 24-21 Eagles, Jalen Hurts MVP. Bri, what do you have?
I'm kind of mad because you just stole all of mine. I'm going to go Eagles.
Okay.
That's what because I'm not picking the Chiefs. I'm not making that a clippable segment. You guys are not going to, we're not going to do that here. This is Let's Talk Broncos. It goes so much deeper. It's like, you're just not going to catch me in that because it would be a lie and it would be disingenuous. So we're going to go Eagles. I'm going to go Jalen Hurts because he's the obvious choice here if the Eagles win, unless, I don't know, maybe Devonta Smith has like 3 touchdowns and you just cannot stop the man. Would I love to see it? Absolutely. Do I think it's possible? Why not? It's the NFL. So
maybe even AJ Brown.
Samuel is giving us some nice stats over here. I think the last 6 MVP players lost the Super Bowl. Also, I think the last 7 or 8 coin toss winners lost the Super Bowl.
Really?
Yeah. I think it was the winners.
Shoot. That's a crazy one. That's a crazy one.
But let's do a score. I think it'll be, oh man, it's the Chiefs versus the Eagles. Yeah, I think it'll be higher. I'm going to go 27-21. So it messes up a lot of people's days. And okay. I'm going to go Eagles, Jalen Hurts, because I feel like that's what my heart's telling me. And I don't care anymore because the Broncos season is over. This is just, you're playing with house money at this point. So Hurts MVP. Let's go. No disrespect here.
No disrespect here. I mean, like I said, I'm right off of you. Like, so from the sounds of it, from the scores we've read, I had the low scoring game. Bree's right in the middle. Zach has the high scoring game. All three of us have Hurts winning MVP. And you know what? I like it because I like if the Eagles win, I can't imagine. Does anyone else have a different MVP pick in the chat that you want to share with us? Please. Because I can't
No,
imagine it not being Patrick Mahomes or Jalen Hurts. It's like really hard to think of one.
no, but Robert Armstrong says 35-30. He doesn't give a winner either, so I'm just gonna go with I think he's probably talking about the Eagles.
Eagles, he definitely is. I know Robert.
Yeah.
AJ
Oh,
Brown.
all right.
He has AJ Brown. Okay, cool. Shout out. We'll give a shout out to you on the podcast this next time if AJ Brown wins MVP because that's a bolder one.
It's pretty bold, and I think all season I've sort of been hiding my face over the AJ Brown slander. I had it to start the year when we were talking about wide receivers
I
and
remember.
who was elite tier wide receivers, and I sort of just dismissed AJ Brown. And AJ Brown, if you're listening, I'm really sorry about it. It'll never happen again. Fly Eagles fly or all that jazz. So Broncos fans don't root for the Chiefs. You are right, Robert. Thank you. I just wanted to be sure. I didn't want to speak for you. That's not what we do here. We let you do the talking at Let's Talk Broncos. Joey, I know we got plans this evening, and then on Sunday, we'll all be enjoying the festivities. But what better way to do so than with a nice cold beer?
Ooh, the wine Stefan Hefeweiss beer. A half beer. You can't go wrong with a half. And you can't go wrong from a half by the people that make the best version of it. The oldest brewery in the world. The people that started this in 1040. 1040. You guys don't know it. I don't even know what 1040 was like, but that's when this beer was around. 1040. They were making beer at Wine Stefan. It's the benchmark of the wheat style beer. It's the number one selling wheat beer in the German wheat beer in the United States. It's really, really, really good, and I really encourage everyone to drink it because I drink it. It's one of my favorites. I've been drinking it for a little bit. Matter of fact, it's one of my dad's favorite beers. So I love this beer. Everybody, please go get a Wine Stefan Hefeweiss beer. They also have the lager, which is really good. I'm a fan of their Fest beer. Their Fest beer is awesome. You guys could go find it at your liquor stores if you guys want to go just type in the name Wine Stefan, where to find it. It'll pop up on your Google because I had made Frankie go buy some, or Frankie went and bought some too. So he looked it up and he found some in Wisconsin. You know, it's all over. We're global.
We are global, as Let's Talk Broncos is a part of Wine Stuff. And what I think is crazy is every time you say it, people think that you're being hyperbolic with the oldest brewery. No, this is legitimately how
Literally.
everyone decided to start making their beer. They just adapted the processes. This is the brewery, and you're going to want to try it out. We appreciate them wanting to partner with us. We feel
1040.
so thrilled. And Joey's got one ready to go. So dilly
Yeah.
dilly. Thank you, Rich Mendoza, for using a different brand saying for this ad sponsorship.
Yes.
We really do appreciate it. Frankie says it is delicious. He's not
Yeah.
paid to say that. We don't give Frankie anything other than pats on the back. So thank you, Frankie.
This is a lie. This is a lie. Frankie's gonna turn his back on the podcast.
Joey, it's been a fun evening. We will be back on Monday to talk all things that happened over the Super Bowl and what it means for the Denver Broncos. What it means is I'm sad and I'm ready to get back to that place where I can be making trips to Arizona to watch the Super Bowl and then maybe get to be on Media Row and get to talk to all the fantastic media members that are out there right now. Joey, where can everybody find your stuff?
Yes, everybody, please go follow me at JR Dress on Twitter, and then make sure you're following the Let's Talk Broncos page on YouTube, please. It helps us out a ton if you go over from the Mile High Sports page here and then go over to the Let's Talk Broncos and subscribe. Subscribe both places. It'll help us. And then if you want to catch my writing, I'm working on an interior defensive line piece. That's going to be really good. And, every 7 days, that's my goal. So I need to have it done by Sunday, and it will be done by Sunday. It's going to be completely done tomorrow, matter of fact. So keep an eye out for that. But, Bri, where can they find your work? I know you're doing an incredible job with your radio show.
Oh, thank you. You can listen to me Monday. Oh, I'm just yelling into the microphone. I'm so sorry for everyone listening to the playback. It's going to be a little loud. Bri Maces 303 over on Twitter, where you can catch all of the live streams of all of Let's Talk Broncos, plus the fan cave, where you can listen to me on Mile High Sports Radio, 1 to 2 p.m. The guys over there are fantastic. I appreciate them giving me the ability to have a midday radio show where I just get to talk about more football and more Denver Broncos. Zach Seegers usually joins me this off season, though. I'm going to be starting to bring in just a bunch of different voices so that we can talk all things Mile High Sports. And then maybe Joey will make it into the studio once in a while and he can do the show with me.
That'd be
It's
cool.
it's been an absolute pleasure with you guys as always. We'll be back on Monday. Enjoy the Super Bowl and go Eagles.